collectible spot, we are having a look at the DC Collectibles, DC Comics, Bombshells, Catwoman. This limited edition statue features Catwoman with her feline pet. Really looks like a phenomenal piece and one of the first Bombshell statues Spot's going to be having a look at on this channel. Spin around the side of the box. Measures approximately 8.75 inches high. Designed by Aunt Lucia. Sculpted by James Marciano. And then on the back, collect them all. Other Bombshells consist of Batwoman and the Joker and Harley Quinn, which would be one I really want to be picking up. To check out more from the folks over at DC Comics, you can go to www.dccomics.com. You can also head over to www.comicsshoplocator.com to find a comic book store in your area. Spot's going to take a break and get this opened up. But when we come back, we're going to get a better look at the DC Comics Bombshells Catwoman statue. There's more heading your way, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. When you have Catwoman out of the box, you have 4 different components. You have the main statue, the display stand, a front placard, and an accessory. First things first, let's have a look at the display stand, which I must say is heavy. The textured work of the steel flooring, I really like that. That's a nice touch. I also like that it's a circular display stand too, which I believe carries over to all the Bombshell statues when you get them. They all have that same round statue. There's a magnet on the front. I'll show you that in a second. You've got a couple of rubber feet on the bottoms to prevent scratching. And underneath you would also have the number out of 5200 as to what numbered piece this is in the set. The other thing that we can have a look at is the front placard featuring Catwoman in that old kind of 50s bombshell look with her cat. There's a magnet on the back, so as you could probably guess it, it sits very securely against the display stand and it does not go anywhere because it is magnetized back. So that's a nice touch. It is easy to remove. It's not something that's pegged in that you have to worry about trying to take off. I like that it's magnetized. So you have that. Then you've got a side accessory, which is very small and very fragile, so be very careful with it. It's just a kind of a pearl necklace. And we'll touch base on that in a second. But the main draw of this is obviously the statue itself. It looks so very cool. Now with the Bombshells are inspired by like those old 50s Bombshell posters, like the Betty Page posters and whatnot. Spot's always really been gravitating towards those designs. I really love like the old vintage designed posters. And Catwoman here looks really cool. It takes elements of Catwoman, things that would look like Catwoman, and translates it into like an old vixen that you would have seen in like the old vintage posters. Now, from what I can gather, the bracelet or necklace can kind of just sit on her fingers like that. And she can kind of just hold them in her hand. What you can also do with it is the underside of her stool. There are pegs, which essentially could be just casters as well, but they are pegs. What you want to do is take your display stand, I'm going to tip it on an angle here. Take the statue, and then this would just sit inside those grooves, and you've instantly got yourself a showpiece. And we can just add the little necklace as the icing on the cake. And a spectacular display it is. It's pretty secure too. It sits far enough down in the little recessed areas of the stand that the statue isn't going to topple over. I like that a lot. And getting it off, you got to be very careful, especially this back section here, because this is plastic. But getting it off, I don't have to yank it off. It's not pegged into place. It just sits into the holes, so I like that a lot. Put the display stand to the side. Let's put the necklace to the side, and let's just get a better look at the statue itself. Bring the camera in. There we go. And there's Catwoman's face. Now, they've done a pretty good job of giving the look of what Catwoman would have theoretically looked back in the day, or if she was a bombshell. So areas such as the ears are still subtly there without outright having her wearing a cowl. Of course, she's not including a tail or anything like that. She's got her very long cigar in hand, or cigarette in hand. I like that the cat would have been perched up onto her shoulders with the tail cascading down the front. Very immaculately painted as well. And she's not quite looking straight on at you either. She's kind of looking at this, like from the side, which obviously based on where she's fitting or sitting on the display stand, it makes perfect sense that the display stand would be facing one way and like her face would be focusing her efforts or focusing her attention towards you. It's a great looking piece though. She is not removable from the stool. This is all basically one sculpted piece. But once again, when you are ready to display her, it just slides right down into the display stand. And if you have it straight on, which you will want to have it straight on based on the front placard, so we move the figure back here. The statue facing this way with the front placard, you can see how she would angle herself towards you. Legs crossed, bringing the necklace back into play. I wish this kind of had been a place to peg in properly, like there's no real area where it can sit on her. It just kind of just drapes on her fingers. But it looks great. A really, really great looking statue. Today's collectible Spot was having a look at the brand new DC Collectibles DC Bombshells. We're having a look today at the Catwoman statue. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more collectible spots heading your way. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.